We'll be back here in just under a week and I'll get the wheels back to work, stick them on the Porsche, and I'll show you exactly what colour I've gone for and how that affects the overall look of the car. Hello guys and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel. Today's video is the third video on my recently acquired Porsche Boxster GTS. I bought this car back in December rather stupidly from a car auction, and a couple of weeks later rather sensibly had it inspected by Porsche specialist Fern Sport. Against all odds it came back with a relatively clean bill of health. They just noticed an exhaust valve was a bit sticky which could be unstuck, and the front and rear bumpers could do with repainting. But I've done the cosmetic work on this car now and I just want to show you what it looks like today. I also want to show to you a couple of cosmetic modifications that I've already made, one of which is relatively minor, the other relating to the wheels is actually quite a big modification. But I also realised I've not actually given you a proper tour of the car. So let's get started by having a closer look at my Porsche Boxster GTS. Okay, let's start off then with the basics. This is the late 2014 registered 2015 model year 981 generation Porsche Boxster GTS. It has got a 3.4 litre normally aspirated flat 6 engine that produces 330 horsepower, and it does 0 to 60 in I think the mid to high 4s, which isn't bad for a two-wheel drive car, is it? This one has got the 7-speed PDK automatic gearbox. A 6-speed manual was also available. I wasn't really bothered which one I bought, I was more bothered about the rest of the car. But one benefit of PDK is that you don't have to worry so much about damaging over revs. It is in carmine red, which is a unique colour to the GTS. It was a £1,600 option, and it's still just a solid non-metallic colour. We've got black badging there with GTS, we've got the GTS specific clear rear light clusters, we've got a black sports tailpipe, and we've got some rather aggressive diffuser going on down there. We've got the standard active spoiler. We've also got GTS on the doors there. But the side of the car is the same as any Boxster apart from that. The wheels are different though. These are 20-inch Carrera wheels. They're 235 on the front, the tyres, and 265 on the back, so quite a lot of rubber on the road there. The standard colour was this silver, but you could pay extra to have them in gloss black with a diamond cut edge, or you could have them in matte black, and it probably would have been a good idea to do that because it makes the car look a lot more aggressive. Let's have a look inside because the GTS magic continues in here. So the special thing with the GTS was that the lower doors, the dash and the seats and the steering wheel and gear knob were in Alcantara, but if you didn't want Alcantara, Porsche let you swap it for leather at no extra cost. This car still has got nearly all of its Alcantara apart from on the gear knob and the steering wheel, where the first owner decided to go for leather because of durability, but luckily he didn't get rid of any elsewhere. We've also got leather on the tops of the doors and on the top of the dash, which really does give you a feel of quality. The seats are sort of the halfway house seats. They're not as basic as the basic seats in the 981s, but they're not as racy as the bucket seats you could order, but they're a really good, sort of comfortable and supportive seat. There's no electric adjustment apart from for the backrest. There's no lumbar adjustment either. This car doesn't have the GTS pack, which I think is less of an issue on this 981 than it is on the 718s, which just have a normal Boxster interior. What it lacks from the GTS pack that it could have is coloured stitching on the doors and on the dash, and I think on the seats. You get colour on the edge of the seat belts and you get carbon inlays. What I might do in the long term is get the gear knob and the steering wheel covered in Alcantara, which I think would just make it feel that little bit more special. We've also got the mesh wind deflector, which is pretty essential for a car like this. On the centre console we've got a reasonable number of buttons. So we've got driving modes down here. Sport's pretty good for the road. Sport Plus is a bit much for the road, designed for tracks I think. And we've got adaptive dampers, but you just leave that really, and if you want to make it harder, mainly for track. You press that button or it gets harder with sport mode. The beauty of it is you can have what you want. So Sport Plus makes the car hard and loud, but if you don't want it hard or loud, you just want, say, the throttle response, you can just have what you want. You've also got the spoiler manual control there, start stop system, which switches off if you go into sport mode. Sport mode is basically how the car should be, and when you're not in any mode, it's basically just to get it through the emissions. Traction control there, which I wouldn't really mess with on the road. One good thing about this car is that it has climate control. Would you believe that on this 60 grand Porsche, climate control wasn't standard? You got air conditioning, but you couldn't program a temperature, which is something Golfs have been doing for 20 years. I think that must have caught out quite a few buyers of these, because it doesn't cost an awful lot to spec, and I don't think anybody would knowingly not choose it. We've got cruise control as well. Got the sport design steering wheel with the metal paddles, so I know PDK is maybe not the purest choice, but it's still lovely to operate these large metal and nicely weighted paddles. We've got navigation, we've got sport chrono, which gives you that stopwatch in the dash there. In here we've got aux in, USB and a 12 volt socket. More storage there with Alcantara on it. It's a very practical car as well, because we've got 2 boots, which I'll just show you now before we start talking about how I've tidied it up already. Let's start in the back then. So in here we have my number plate and my number plate surround, which we'll talk about in a sec. A reasonably good boot there. And here we have a boot. Now all these covers are missing because I'm going to clean under here and put them all back so they look like new. But anyway, there's the boot. So it's a really practical proposition. Now we're back at the front of the car. We can talk about how I've made it look better than it was when I bought it. So front bumper was too dark. I gave the car to the body shop and they did some spray out, which meant they did some tests with their paint to make sure it matched the metalwork. The good thing about this car was that all the metalwork was original, so we could be sure that if they matched, say, the wing, it would match the bonnet. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. I literally put the bumper back on last night. You may have noticed there is no number plate plinth. It's in the boot and there are no holes for it. That's because something else is going to be put there instead. I am going to run a number plate, do not worry about that. Also, eagle-eyed viewers will notice the washer jet caps are missing. And that's because somebody said in the comments or on Instagram, all you need now is some body-coloured washer caps. And I thought, yeah, you know what, if they're painting the front bumper, I'll give them the washer jets and they can paint those. Unfortunately, they got broken and they had to order some new caps, which meant actually getting the whole pump thing that goes behind the bumper that actually pushes the water out, and they still haven't painted them. But luckily, I can just slot them on, hopefully, when they come back, which, yeah, would be kind of nice. So that's the front. There's some fingerprints on it from where I put it on yesterday. But yeah, it looks like a great colour match and it sits perfectly. And the good news is everything behind there was absolutely lovely and original. At the back, it had a poor previous repair. This was disclosed by the auction. Funnily enough, they didn't disclose that the front bumper was completely the wrong colour. A couple of weeks ago, had a real good go at polishing it. So basically, you're trying to smooth the paint off by gradually wearing it away so it doesn't look as orange peely. And it actually looked a lot better. But I think it was this corner, there were sort of 3 dots where the lacquer had lifted. And even though I wasn't originally going to paint that, when I took the car to the body shop, we kind of looked at it in the light. And I said, I tell you what, just do that. So hopefully they've stripped all that down and done a proper job on that. It's a lot easier though to strip the back bumper because you've only got the diffuser. The front is very, very complicated. I did that over, it took quite a long time to take it all apart, and then it took quite a long time to put it all back together. But there is only one way to do it properly, and that's to just strip every bit of plastic. So all those grills there, that big centre grille was gone, the parking sensors had gone, the little DRLs had gone as well, and of course the indicators, side repeaters. Okay, well that's what I've done to the car. The next thing I need to do is get the wheels off and take them down to Prestige Wheel Centre on the other side of Birmingham. Well, I'm back at Prestige Wheel Centre on the north side of Birmingham. Regular viewers will remember those shutters because they're the ones that my Mark 8 Golf GTI Club Sport rolled out of just under a year ago with its brand new Vossen wheels on it. Well as being an importer and retailer of high-end alloy wheels, Prestige Wheel Centre also have a very high quality wheel refurbishment service. They do a lot of main dealers and they do mine. And of course they're going to do the ones for the Porsche. And this is Dell, and Dell's going to tell us all about what they're going to do to my wheels to make them like new, I'd say.
Yeah, in a nutshell, yes. So we're going to be doing a full refurbishment of your wheels, as usual. So the process, in short, involves a visual inspection of the wheels, remove all of the tyres, remove all the TPMS sensors or valves. After that, we will do a chemical strip on all of the wheels to remove all of the old powder coat paint. Following that, they go on to prep, where guys take care of any damage or any issues or any imperfections with the casting of the wheel, etc. Following that, go on to cleaning, and then on to final stage powder coat, where we apply the finish that you've chosen, which
will be revealed when they're done, so we'll save that for later. But these are the choices you can get. There's also more than this, Del?
Yeah, so this is just a small selection of probably the most common colours that we do.
So loads of silvers, like 6 different silvers?
Oh yeah, we've got sort of like over 30 different silvers in total. The most popular ones are here, and we've got a palette of around probably about 2,000 colours, roughly. So there's plenty to choose from. Yeah. So would you say that you're so good at matching colours that you need to get them all done when you have a refurb, or if you damage one, can you just do one? Would you be confident that it would match? I would say in most cases, yes, we can do one wheel and it will match the others. There are obviously new wheels, designs and finishes coming out all the time, which is a bit of a process to keep up to date with. There are times where we have to use our paint supplier and, send wheels off to the lab to have them, replicated, etc. Some of the finishes we will mix ourselves on occasion. It just depends on what we're doing, really.
Yeah. Because the world of wheel colour has got a lot more complicated in recent years, but until recently it was like silver, and the blacks came in, and there's all sorts now. What about the pinstripe wheels? Because on the Club Sport 45, GT3, Honda Civic Type R, it's a bit Marmite, but the pinstripes there, and people are going to curb them. Can you do them?
We can do them, however, they are not the most straightforward of finishes to apply to a wheel. Take it on a case-by-case basis, but we're happy to have a look at them, and we have done them many times in the past.
Well, personally on the Club Sport 45, if I curb a wheel, in fact even if I don't curb a wheel, I'd be down here and get them just changed into solid black, because I'm not a big fan of the pinstripe. I know some people are, but maybe I'm a little bit too old for a red pinstripe on a wheel. Anyway, we'll be back here in just under a week, and I'll get the wheels back to work, stick them on the Porsche, and I'll show you exactly what colour I've gone for and how that affects the overall look of the car. So I'll see you in a few days. Okay, it's been 4 days since I dropped the wheels off at Prestige Wheel Centre. They actually rang me up yesterday to say they were ready, but I couldn't get over there. So that was 3 days from drop off until they were ready for collection, which is pretty average if you book in with them and you're going for a relatively simple finish, which is what I have gone for. So let me get the car outside, listen to that, and we'll have a proper look around it. Okay, well this is a big reveal, so I guess I need to tease you a bit. So let's pan back, and there you go. So they are satin black, which was a factory option, and I think they suit the GTS really rather well. They aren't actually the original finish. It's not the original finish I was going for. In the brochure there are 3 options: the original silver, which the car had, which was standard, there was this satin black, and there was also a gloss black wheel with a silver edge. And I assumed naively that was just a diamond cut edge
So you paint the wheel black and cut the edge, relatively simple to do. No, and Dell was actually pretty suspicious before he looked further into it that this wheel would diamond cut because it doesn't have the correct shape on its edge that suits diamond cutting. They really ideally need to be raised up a bit, and anyway, so he was right. When we look closely at photos with those wheels, Porsche appeared to paint the whole wheel silver and then just paint the face of it black, which they can do at Prestige, but it would take a lot longer, cost a lot more money. I could wait, but if I curb a wheel, I don't have spares for Porsches, the car will be off the road a lot longer than if I just went for satin black. So that was it, decision made. I've had to replace the wheel centre caps, and originally I was a bit vexed that I didn't have the matte, the satin ones, but these are the glossy ones, but actually they don't look too bad, and we've gone for coloured crests as well. These are actually cheap eBay copies, but they looked identical to the genuine ones. Got all the part numbers on the back. Will they be as durable? Probably not, but they cost £15 for the 4. It's crazy, isn't it? So there we have it. Another little tweak I've done is to get rid of the number plate plinth. I think I showed you that in the walk around video, and the reason for that was to go for a stick-on plate. Now, Chris Harris, Monkey Harris, who you know from Top Gear, he did a video about his GT3, and one of the things he'd done is take off the number plate plinth and fit a stick-on plate. Apparently people had told him it's not legal, but he was pretty sure it was, and if you got it from the same company I did, I'm pretty sure this is. So we've got the correct spacing both between the characters and there, which is a bit more, and on the edges. We've got the BSAU British Standards logo there. We've got reflective background, and we've got my company name and postcode, and that's legal because I'm a number plate supplier. I can't actually make number plates, but I can go to a number plate manufacturer with my special number, and they can put my name and postcode on the plates. So what do you think? Are we going in the right direction? I think it looks a lot more modern now, and that's probably because the 718 GTS 4 litre, I'm pretty sure, has got satin black wheels as standard, and the style, actually now these have been painted satin black, looks very 718. And bear in mind that the 981 is actually very closely related to the 718 anyway. It's just a real hefty facelift for that car, and I actually prefer the face of the 981. I just think that air intake with no body colour at the bottom of it just looks a lot hungrier than the 718. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, next jobs to do are to paint the bells on the brake discs down there because they look a bit tired now. That one's okay, but these back ones look a bit rusty. What should we do there? Should we go silver or should we go black because we've got black wheels? I can't really work that one out, so help me out in the comments. The car needs a good polish, so it kind of looks shiny here, but it's not as shiny as it was when it was new, so we could do with really some sort of detailing being done on it. So if you're a detailer and you want to get your teeth into this car, then drop me a line and we can get together and you can do that. Other than that, spring will soon be here, and it will be time to get some mega drives done in this car. Hopefully this year we'll be allowed to drive where we want, when we want. So yeah, I can't wait to do that. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this Volkswizard video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, please do comment, please do share, please do subscribe, and if you need your wheels refurbished, get in touch with Prestige Wheel Centre. I'll put a link to their website in the description below. See you for the next one very soon.